So yet another Indonesian horror film from 2024 dropped onto Netflix out of nowhere. They love to do this during the year, basically, but especially around Halloween season. They pluck a lot of these foreign films, mostly Indonesian, sometimes Indian. Those are the countries they really seem to pilfer from, but they throw you a different country every once in a while, but for some reason it always seems to be Indonesia 90% of the time. So this one is called Temurun, I think is how you would say that. Temurun. And so this follows a brother and a sister, and they are looking after their mother, or at least the sister is. And something happens, and they have to go and live with their estranged father. And in doing so, there is some family secrets and things get crazy. Of course, there's some spiritual entities or whatnot, because Indonesia is always about them spirits, them ghosts, them demons. It's always supernatural. They Indonesian rarely do slashers, or they always do some ghost demon type movies. There's so many different styles of horror, but when it comes to Indonesia, they have a very specific genre or subgenre within horror that they do, which is fine. It's just kind of you know what to expect. Now, unlike most Indonesian, something I'd always talked about in the past with these movies is that 9 times out of 10, it's always people who live in the big city return to their small villages, and the small villages have a lot of superstitious beliefs and whatever, and then they face some demon with some shaman and some whatever. That's the kind of the opposite of what happens in this one. In this one, they're poorer. They live in a little village or whatever, and then they move to the big city. They move into a mansion. It's this big house. So it's kind of the opposite of normal, which was unique and made this a bit different. Now, as far as the horror goes, because this is a horror movie and a lot of people are going to be watching this for the horror aspects of it, I found all the horror in this to be extremely generic and forgettable, right? It's all very basic imagery. It's all the kind of stuff we've seen a million times. The way that it's presented, the way that it's done, the way that it's all executed. It's all everything that you've seen plenty of times before. So when it comes to the horror stuff, it's fine. It's whatever. It's kind of what I've learned to expect from a lot of Indonesian horror. Some are better than others, of course. There's some exceptions to that rule, as there always is. There's some great ones that do horror very well. But for the most part, I find Indonesian horror to fairly lack in the execution of their horror imagery and gags and whatever. And this one's kind of no different. But what I did like about this movie is I actually quite liked the story. I liked the relationship between the sister and the brother, with the mom and the dad, and the lineage, and kind of the twists and the turns and the trauma, and the infighting, and the whole story together for me actually worked fairly well. I actually found myself buying into the family drama side of things. That is a subgenre of horror that I'm a huge fan of. All the A24's type stuff, like the Hereditaries and the Dark and the Wickeds and all that kind of stuff. That's something that I'm very partial to in the genre nowadays. And those always end up being something that I really enjoy. Now, they're typically accompanied by great horror gags that makes me love them, like the aforementioned films. So this one doesn't have that to accompany it and to strengthen it for me. So unfortunately, this is kind of a mid film for me, where I'm if you're a big fan of Indonesian horror, I know these videos don't usually get a lot of attention for the channel. I keep watching tons of these, and some people are very thankful that I cover these. Most people don't give a shit. These will average very little, 1/5 the views I'll get. 1/15th, 1/20th the views I'll get on something more popular. But, there's only so many popular horror movies that come out, right? And I love horror, and I'm going to watch fucking hundreds and hundreds of them throughout the year. And that's what this channel's for. And I like talking about random horror movies. I know a lot of you want me to do more like spoiler discussions on older films like I used to. I've kind of become obsessed with doing a lot of, of these newer releases and spoiler-free discussions. And I don't know. That's what I like because I get to watch more movies. I like watching new stuff more than I like watching old stuff these days. I've just seen all the old stuff so many times. I'm just kind of over rewatching it and talking about it. I want to talk about new things. I like new horror. Unfortunately, a lot of the community seems to fucking hate it and completely ignores it and then bitches that it's dead even though they never fucking give anything a chance. They'll watch like 5 movies in a year and be like, horror is dead. Fuck you. I've watched almost 250 2024 horror films. How many have you watched? 7? 10? Right, like you guys don't watch anything. So anyway, now I'm on a rant and I'm bitching at you, but you know who you are. If you're not that person, then disregard this. If you are that person, then that's what's meant for you. But these kinds of movies, you got to give them chances. You got to roll the dice. You got to, if you got the time and you can give it to it. And I don't know. I had a good time with this one. I think it's okay. But I really bought into the story. I thought that was well done. I think the acting from Dewey, the main actress here, is good. I think everyone in the movie is quite good. I thought I bought into the family dynamic and the twists and turns, as I said. So that's that. Temurun. It's on Netflix as we speak. If you want to check it out and support horror, man, support it. Fucking stop bitching about it and watch stuff because there's a lot of good stuff out there. I don't know what everyone's talking about. Horror is bigger and better than ever. So anyway, let me know if you agree with me in the comments. I'll see you down there. Adios.